How you doing, Fran? Still on mute. Bottom of the screen, and then it'll be a microphone with a like a red thing cut through it.
No, no, I knew it was off, but Zoom isn't happy with some of the other programs I'm running sometimes, so I was just shutting them down. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Not bad, not bad. You've got
Thank
the
you for.
chilly weather there as well, I heard.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was cold and it was icy this morning, but not snowing like other places were and sleeting. So
That's
and
something at least.
yeah, Cardiff's very much by the sea, right? So we're not as affected as other places.
Yeah.
So what about you?
We're not too bad in the big picture of things. It's only, I think it's just got above freezing. I think the big problem is it was a big change. We had 17, 18 degrees at the weekend. So it's, and then suddenly to have this, it's like, oh,
Yeah,
no.
it's varied, right? I don't really mind the temperature as long as it's sunny. I just hate the wet, and
Mhm.
both I guess locations, Holland and is it Holland or the Netherlands? Is it
Now
both?
you see, now so if you were to say Holland, then it's just
Hmm.
like saying England instead of the UK.
Got you.
So Holland is about two specific regions in the country. And it is really confusing because I mean the Dutch football team say they're from Holland. But anyway.
I knew it had something to do around Amsterdam. So Amsterdam's in Holland, is that right?
Yeah, it's in North Holland. So
Right.
Amsterdam's in North Holland and you have The Hague is in South Holland. So they believe they're the best.
Got you. I got you. And then the
Yeah, let
Netherlands
me
is the whole of it then.
Exactly. There's a few more regions chucked in there for the fun of it. Let me see if I can just share this thing now. Look at that. There we go. Yay, magic.
Cool.
It's essentially, Andy, the same as what we did before. Oh, I see my name's Gareth. Oh, hello.
You can change that.
How do I change that? That's now going to be the interesting thing.
Stop sharing your screen
Yeah, that's going to do. Sharing.
and then go to the three dots in the top right hand corner of your screen. Then go down to the bottom of that list and it'll say rename
I love the way you say the three dots, the top right hand corner. Don't
of
have them.
I'll see if I can do it now. Right. So if you see your actual screen in regards to
Mm.
the video pop-up that you're on,
Mhm.
if you move the cursor, some blue boxes should appear
Yeah,
on the top left-hand
there we go.
side. And
They're
then if you
brilliant.
three dots and then down the bottom of that.
Ta-da!
There we are. And hopefully that kind of
That
stays.
just shows you how long since I've actually properly used Zoom.
Yeah, well it's random in regards to we do all our face-to-face meetings generally with Google, and then we use Zoom for certain things. So the online seminars and webinars that are delivered is via Zoom. So
Yeah.
I think the security is actually a little bit higher on Zoom. That's what I'm led to believe, but I couldn't tell you.
Who knows? I mean, I don't trust any of them to be honest, but that's a discussion for a different day.
Cool. Well, with this one, we're on early and we know we're in the right location. Um, so what we'll do, I'll just let you run
Yeah,
and you can ask people questions whenever you feel there's a no
a chance. Well, it's
chance. Or,
essentially it's
sorry,
the
was
same as last time, and sorry, it's because it's the same one as last time. It's the same idea, as in they have to go and think things through and give some answers and talk with us and such.
Cool. So what I'll do then is I'll just monitor the chat box through
Perfect.
the webinar, and then if there's a question that pops up, I could always kind of like segue in there and just ask it.
Perfect. Sounds good. Mm.
Have you trained today?
Hmm?
Have you trained today?
I haven't. Today's an active rest day. Every day I don't train as an active rest day because I have a dog. But
Hmm.
yeah, no, tomorrow back to training again. I did Chad last Friday. And then trained again on Sunday. And the programming on the Sunday was lunges and squats. That was a nice challenge.
Biggest muscles in the body, so sometimes they can take a little bit more of a pounding. But yeah, no,
True. But my
I'm like you. I definitely do a couple of days on, and Thursdays are generally chill days.
the rest day. Yeah. No, I quite like Sundays because the box where I train, that's the team workout day. So I enjoy doing that. And then I try and get in at least Tuesdays and Fridays,
Beautiful.
preferably more. I coach myself on Mondays and Wednesdays. So yeah.
Very
Hi,
good.
Gareth.
Hello, how are we doing?
Not bad yourself.
Good, I'm good, thank you.
How are
Uh,
the doggos and how's Adele doing?
Doggos are good. Adele was good. She's took herself off to the spare room the last couple of nights, so shockingly, we've both been sleeping better. Um, but yeah, she's all good. She's good.
I just
24
don't like you
weeks.
no more.
It
What's that?
goes fast.
Yeah, 24 this week. So we Adele PTs her mum and dad on a Thursday morning, doors at like 8 a.m. It's actually her only PT client that she's still got, bless her. But yeah, she PTs them early doors on a Thursday, and then as her mum was walking out the door today, she went, "Oh, don't forget that I was a month early for you and your brother." So just sudden panic, like,
That's helpful.
that's helpful. James, how you doing, mate?
Hello. You all
I
right?
haven't I haven't forgotten you want that PDF, buddy. I've just not received it yet.
That's cool. No worries. Yeah, no, it was a good call last week or week before, whenever it was. Just wanted to follow up on it. But yeah, all good. How's everyone?
Good, James.
Good
Where
days.
are
Good,
you
good.
based?
We're down south. We're in Poole.
Ah,
Yeah, not
so
Bournemouth.
not too chilly.
It's I just actually don't real like cold you this no more. morning. Yeah,
Yeah.
really cold. Yeah. It's eased up now, but this morning was Baltic. Yeah.
Mm. You had to
Yeah.
scrape the ice off the car, did you?
Yeah, and the skylights in the gym sort of freeze overnight and then proceed to melt throughout the day. So we've got a few puddles. So that's great.
Who? Yeah, I bet you didn't think when you opened your box that that would be one of the issues you'd have.
Yeah, I know. It's there's many things you don't think about.
That's so true.
Okay, so Fran, it is 1 o'clock.
Mhm.
Let's just get the ball rolling, and then as and when people come in, we can always bring them up to speed. In regards to the webinar, thank you very much for coming back and doing this. The first time we did it was a little bit of a mess, but now
It was a trial.
it
It
was
was a
it was a
test,
trial.
Andy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Tested us for sure, and tested the patience of those who came on and then uh, uh, observed. But now, because we've gone through that, now it'll give them a good opportunity to ask a couple more questions because we'll have the time,
Mhm.
etc., and it will allow you to go through that lovely flow, explaining everything, your background, and what you have a particular passion for in regards to coaching development, and member experience, etc. As said, if you do have any questions as we're going along, Gareth and myself will be monitoring the chat box. So just type them in there, and then we can always ask Farran as she goes along. And then obviously Farran yourself, more than ample opportunity to ask the crowd for some kind of input, etc. But other than that, you good to go?
Yeah, good to go, Andy. Thank you for that. For those
Brilliant.
of you, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Farran Mackay. I originally grew up in Ireland, but I moved to the Netherlands about 20 years ago. And I come to this with a real passion for CrossFit. And by that, I mean not only a deep belief in the methodology, but a belief in how much positive impact it can have in the lives of so many different types of people. But to have this impact, we have to have healthy affiliates. We have to have healthy affiliates and coaches who give an exceptional member experience to make sure people do not only receive the CrossFit methodology, but they keep coming back for more and more. And that's what this is about, this discussion today. It's about how do you make sure that your member experience is such that you don't leak members away. Yeah. So if you can imagine yourself as a bucket, your affiliate as a bucket, we want to plug all those little holes where they slowly leak away. And we want to turn your members into the most efficient ambassadors that you have ever, to the point where you don't have to run sales campaigns and stuff, because all they do is talk about how amazing your affiliate is and what an amazing experience that they give. I have a very diverse background as such. I have over 30 years experience as a sports instructor. It was first sailing, then snowboarding, and I then discovered CrossFit. I also worked in formal education for 15 years, not only as a teacher, but as a teacher educator and a researcher. And as a researcher, my focus was on, okay, how can we support teachers change their teaching practices? In other words, how can we support coaches deliver what they need to do to make sure our members have an exceptional experience? Now, when it comes to a member experience, we all have an origin story when it comes to CrossFit. And mine started about, it's nearly 11 years ago to the day. And I did a charity event, which was 40 burpees for 40 days. And the idea is that we had to make a video of ourselves and upload it at this point in the Facebook group, because that was all the thing then for accountability. And on the first day, I uploaded my video, very proud of myself. I'd managed to struggle through the 40 burpees. And there was this woman who looked like me, my age. Not only was she doing burpees, but she was doing burpee pull-ups. And my mind was blown. I couldn't understand how somebody like me could do something like that. Obviously, over time, it became apparent that she had been doing CrossFit for a while. I was like, oh, this is an interesting thing, this CrossFit. Put it in the back of my head and went on with life. Then a friend of mine, Jen, probably about 3 months later, apped me going, oh my gosh, I just tried this thing. You're going to love it. You've got to come along. And I'm like, okay, Jen, what is it? Tell me a bit more. She's like, yeah, it's this thing called CrossFit. And I'm like, oh, this rings a bell. Oh, yeah, let me see that out. So I signed up for a trial class. Unfortunately, Jen couldn't be there. She had to go away with work. And I remember standing outside this, industrial garage type box, no sign on it. It was a January evening. It was lashing rain. And I was like, where am I? This does not look like a sports school. This is not what I expected. Being based in the Netherlands, however, I saw that there was lots of bicycles parked outside. I was like, oh, okay, this is a sign that there might be people inside. So, I put on my big girl pants and I walked over to the door and I opened it up. And I was first hit with this wall of sound. I felt like I was walking into some illegal rave or something. And then I walked through further and I was hit with this sight of something I'd never seen before. These half naked people doing movements I'd never seen. If I explained to you that the workout for the day was Fran, you could probably imagine that I was seeing them doing these strange pull-ups and thrusters and stuff like that. But I walked through the door and immediately this woman walked up to me and welcomed me. I said, oh, it's great that you're here. Come on over. You can sit over here with these other people while, you're waiting for the class to start. And those people were also very welcoming and warm and things like that. And I explained already that it was Fran was the workout for the day. So you can imagine how my first experience went. I questioned all my life choices. during the workout. And at the end of it, I thought, I need to do this again. And so I came back. And so, and then I had another experience in that class that went, oh, this hit the spot. This is what I wanted. This is what I needed. And so I came back again. And I came back again. And I came back again. And it was that experience that I was getting in those moments that helped me come back for more and more and more. And that's what we're going to delve in today. It is, what is that experience that our members want so that they can come back for more? So what we're going to look at is, we're going to look at, okay, what is a good class, a good lesson? But from the member's point of view, what experience do they want? What would make a good lesson for them? So I'm going to give you all about just over 1 minute to write down for yourself, from the member's point of view, what would make a good lesson? And try and think of it not just from, your own point of view of the type of member you are, but also try and put your feet into the shoes of Mary, your collegiate college rower, or Sam, your grandfather of 10, or Anya, the corporate jet setter. Try and put your feet into the shoes of those many different types of members that you have in your affiliate. But we're not here today to talk about just good lessons. You want to figure out what makes it an exceptional lesson. That somebody would walk away from going, oh, wow, that ticked all the boxes for me. Or that if a member went and did a drop in when they're on vacation somewhere and they came back to tell you what an exceptional experience they had was, what would have made it exceptional? I'm going to give you another 20 seconds or so to write down some ideas that you might have. So, who would like to share first what they think their members would say would make an exceptional lesson? Who would like to share?
I don't mind going first.
Thanks, James.
So I think the first thing is obviously being called by name. So obviously the coach's name, actually being coached for the movements and having obviously the coach add value to your movement and intensity throughout the session. Obviously having a great workout, learning or achieving a new skill or doing something you didn't think you could. And I think the most important one is positive interactions with other members and the coaches.
I like that. Yeah. Anybody else like to share what they have?
Peter in the chat has said, learn a little something.
Learn a little something. I like that. Yeah. Alex, did you want to share?
Yes, I think having fun, feeling welcome, leaving feeling accomplished, and leaving with a smile on their face.
Nice.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Anything else from anybody?
Katie's added to the chat because her mic isn't working. Exceptional class, engaging, fun, feeling safe, achieve something, learn something new.
I like the feeling safe part. That's a good one. Gareth, I'm going to put you on the spot. What would you like to add?
I was about to add passionate delivery. I think in the service industry, if the person delivering the product does it passionately, it can cover a multitude of sins.
That's true. Very true. So anything anybody else would like to add?
Peter's added that to be challenged appropriately in regards
Mhm,
to what they're doing within the class.
mhm. Okay, nice. So in generally what you all mentioned was not just about movement. It's about all the other things that happen around in the class. And I've done this now with hundreds of affiliate owners and coaches, and not just within the CrossFit space, but also hockey, volleyball, and other things. And generally, the same themes come up. And the first theme is safety and time. And it is to be, you know, not only physically safe, but psychologically safe. And then when it comes to time, we need to remember that somebody has probably negotiated with other people in their lives that this is the hour for them, that they can be a Farran or a Gareth or whoever it is. And that for them, that time being respected is also very important. So they like to start and end on time, as such. What was already mentioned quite a lot was that they want to be seen. They want to be seen for who they are. And for one, and yeah, names being used and things like that. And for one person, it might be just even that nod, that recognition that they're there. And another person to be seen might mean that you have had a whole discussion with them about something. Not only do they want to be seen, they want to move. They haven't signed up to stand for 8 minutes in front of the whiteboard. They've signed up to try and move as much as possible. They have probably sat all day long, behind a laptop or in meetings or whatever, and they're there to move. And I think, as some of you already mentioned, also to improve. That's why they've come to somewhere with coaching in it. They want to learn how to get better at what they're doing. And they want to feel satisfied that whatever rocks their boat, takes their fancy in that day, that has happened. And last but not least, the atmosphere. So is it fun? Is it engaging? Have they had connections with other people? And this is where the fun part is, and the challenging part it is for us as owners and coaches, is that all these things are needed by people, but with different priorities. So somebody might really need to be seen and satisfied in atmosphere, while somebody else might feel that to improve is more important. And what's even more challenging is that this priority of these things changes from one day to the next. So our challenge as owners and coaches is, okay, how can we hit as many of these things as possible in our class to try and make as many people as possible receive what they need to help them coming back for more? So then the question is, what can we as coaches do to hit all these things? What are coaching practices? And by coaching practice, I'm talking about the things we can see on the outside, what somebody does, what somebody says. I'm not talking about what happens in their head. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's literally what a member can see a coach doing, what you as an owner can see your coaches doing. It's nothing that happens inside the head. And what we're going to look at now are what coaching practices can we use to try and hit these 6 main themes. So what I'm going to ask you to do about is we're going to look at exceptional lesson again, but we're going to look at now what coaching practices, what are the things the coaches need to do to deliver an exceptional lesson. And just to remind you, we have these 6 themes. What I'd like you to do is just pick one of them and try and write down as many things as possible that are observable, measurable, and repeatable that we can ask a coach to do. So I'm going to give you just over 2 minutes. Just write down as many things as possible that you think about. And make sure we can observe it, measure it, and that it's repeatable. And if you run out of ideas for one, you can always move on to another theme and write it down. So what can coaches do to make sure your members feel safe and things are timely, that your members feel seen, they can move, improve, they feel leave satisfied, and that the atmosphere is what the members wanted. Okay, who would like to be the first to share what they think the coaches should do? Silence. Isn't that scary? There's no wrong answers here, guys.
I'll go.
Thanks, James.
I went for be seen.
Mhm.
A few things I could think of were every member in every class should get at least 2 contact points or interactions with the coach. So whether that's
Nice.
correction or praise, we say to our coaches, you need to get around everyone in the room at least twice. Obviously, they can go over that if they need to, but at least twice is the minimum. Obviously, using the members' names, there's the class list, has photos attached to all of them as well, so that's quite easy. Introduce new members and introduce drop-ins. So obviously, when you stood at the whiteboard, it'd be like, "Oh, we've got Dave with us today," sort of thing.
Mhm.
And always end with a fist pump.
Nice. Nice, James.
Thanks.
Did anybody else have some ideas about be seen?
Uh, Peter's about welcomed by name. So I think names are a pretty strong thing, which
Mhm.
I think we all kind of agree on. And then Farran has put something down for move in regards to enable, correct faults, teach, communicate clearly, don't speak too much, and demo well.
Yeah. Nice. Anybody who'd like to share anything else?
I think the more you can relate back to an individual's personal life in a class format becomes very powerful. So we kick off the
Mhm.
call and you're like, hey, how's the dogs? How's the dogs? I sweet, yeah, Fran's remembered stuff about me. That's really nice. I think if you can do that in
Mhm.
a class format, um, how's kids? They're excited for Christmas. The little tidbits of information I think can
Mhm.
certainly make someone feel very welcome.
Yeah. I think we can underestimate just how powerful it is to remember that somebody has a dog as such, or that, they had a big meeting coming up or something like that. Because it really can help be seen. Anybody else have anything to share with being seen?
Peter's been a pop something really poignant in there. Observe something different about them on the day, whether it's a new shirt, haircut, or something
Mhm.
along those lines.
Mhm. Nice. I think something that we have to remember with being seen is also understanding their wants and their needs. What do they need in the moment? What do they want in the moment? Also, what is their why? Why are they there? Okay. Why are they there in that moment? Because at the end of the day, there's something pushing us to walk in the affiliate that very first day. There's something more painful in our lives going on than opening that door and walking through that door. And being seen is also understanding what that thing is. And it might be that it takes quite a long time to really understand what that is as a coach, because people often say, yeah, I want to lose 5 kilos, but maybe the deeper reason is their father died at a young age or something. Yeah. But this is where being seen is not just the surface stuff. It's also the deeper stuff and their why. And that often takes a long time to understand where it comes from. Is there anybody who'd like to add anything else from any of the others? The idea here is that we share ideas because we all have different ways of doing things. And if we learn from each other, we might think, oh, that's a good thing I can try out with my coaches or myself in my class. So anybody have anything that they'd like to add? Guys, I know you do more than just stand in front of the whiteboard and read what's on the whiteboard and let them go off and do things.
So I'll just add to this. I I think connection just on every single level for both safe time, be seen, move, improve, satisfied, and atmosphere can be systemized. And that's what we're trying to do at Dragon. And so it starts off, if we think about um, what anchors those conversations and those connections once the class is going, once the teaching is being taken care of. So it's all about the focus of that connection. And that's always going to start with the name. That name is always going to be followed by some form of cue. Now, a cue could be, hey, I like your shoes. It could be, hey, you squat lower. It could be, knees put down. And then there's the element of acknowledge. All right. So again, good job. Good to see you here. Okay. When you in next, that kind of stuff. And then by systemizing it within Dragon, it just allows us then to manage expectations of our trainers, because it's great saying this, but if I have a level 1 trainer versus a level 3 trainer, that level and strength of connection can differ, can also be stronger as well. So that's how we kind of like systemize it with what we're trying to do.
Nice, Andy. Yeah. Did anyone have a look at Move? How can we make sure our members move? What coaching practices do we need to use?
Yeah, Karen put that in the chat in terms of Peter's just added talk less, and I think that's another good one as well, right? It's just get them moving more and us talking less.
Yeah, and I think moving is one of the parts that we can prepare even more than probably a lot of us do, and including the talking less. Often I get, especially newer coaches, to practice their whiteboard brief, record it before they do it. So they have an idea of, oh, that took me 6 minutes. I was like, yeah, why did that take you 6 minutes type of thing? And I think also to move is all about also the scaling adaptations, progressions we can use to make sure that somebody is moving as best as they can in the day. I'm wondering, does anyone here have anything they'd like to share about how they scale the workouts for their members, or how they help their members scale the workouts? James, I'm just going to pick on you, James. How do you go about helping your members scale the workouts? What approach do you take?
So the approach we take is, for example, we had muscle ups on Tuesday, ring muscle ups. So the warm up was all the progressions from the ground up. The easiest regression, sorry, worked for all of them. And then that was the warm up for obviously the more experienced guys, and it was a learning process for the newer guys. And then obviously we chucked it into the conditioning piece, so the strength piece, sorry, or we had a scaled option for the guys that obviously didn't get all the way through the sort of the layer and the movement. And when it comes to like a WOD, we just have 3 options on the board and go for all 3 options basically, as opposed to people are like putting their hand up and saying, I can't do a handstand walk. We've already given them an option.
So you don't have to think about it as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does anyone else have a different approach to skating?
We have a slightly global one in regards to call it individualization. Individualization for those athletes, members within that class based on the stimulus. Now, again, depending on the level of the trainer, will depend on the strength at which one could individualize the workout. So it's about getting as much training across our team so that they can adequately scale. And so actually within the moment, we can provide options, but we don't really provide options on the board. We provide options within the coach's remit so that they can use those in order to feel comfortable. We can also ask what our members have done previously within the class, and so we create opportunity in order to do that. So this is where it comes into a bit of the programming part in terms of we try and keep it simple so that we can maximize the coaching opportunity.
Then I just want to paraphrase to make sure I understand. Basically, the scaling is based on the intention of the workout, the intensity of the workout as such,
Yeah, to the
and that
stimulus.
the stimulus, and then this is just delving a bit deeper, is this stimulus shared with the members so they then have to choose what it is, what they should be doing, if that makes sense?
The stimulus is prescribed in regards to, hey, this is what we're looking to see. Some people might
Hmm.
go a little bit beyond, but we want to see everyone come in and around. Let's say in an AMRAP, we want to see 5 rounds. Okay. So we
Okay.
already have that conversation, and
Mhm.
then it depends who the crowd is in front of us as well. Some people will know what scaling options that they need to do. Others will need more
Mhm.
hand holding in order to get there. So it's a consideration for each one of our coaches in order to that's a challenge which I set to the coaches, is that you need to individualize this workout for the people that are in front of you.
Mhm.
And it's my task then as um, lead trainer had to make sure that the staff are adequate or have adequate support in order to do that. So again, it's not a complete free for all. There will be certain prescriptions. Simple thing like asking someone, oh, the last time you did pull-ups, what did you do? Jumping box. Okay, well, this time we're going to do jumping chest to bar. So again, we've got that
Mhm.
element of progression within there as well.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges we have in most of our group sessions within CrossFit, that everything can be in the class from a complete beginner to somebody who is a games athlete. Yeah. And at the end of the day, we want them all to finish with the intent, to work out with after hitting the intended stimulus. And what I hear from you, Andy, as well, that there is, also give them a certain amount of responsibility in remembering what at least they did the last time. And some of them also know what scaling options they'll be going forward to start with. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think that's an important thing that often we forget, and especially when it comes to intermediate athletes or members, is that we have to give them a certain amount of responsibility as well to hit the intended stimulus of the workout. They know enough now of how Fran should feel or how Morrison should feel. Yeah. They have enough knowledge about their skills and what their deadlift feels like if they've done 10 unbroken as such. And I think that's also an important part of being seen, is letting them be responsible to move and to improve as such. Speaking of improve, is there anything anybody wrote? Did anybody focus on improve at all?
So we
Gareth?
this is kind of connected to improve and your previous question a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
For the movements that require a lot of scaling, gymnastic movements, for example, we tend to teach things as a journey. And whenever I'm explaining this to new coaches or new people, I always explain it as you get in a train somewhere, and the train is your muscle up or your toes to bar or whatever it might be. And we encourage the guys, we encourage the coaches to teach the different stages of things in the class as we go through. So it might be a hanging knee raise, it might be a toes to a marker, it might be a single leg toes to bar, with the goal that the members not only get the scaling that they need for that session, but they know what the next thing is as well, so that they can
Mm-hmm.
improve on it time and time
Mm-hmm.
again. It's a way that we've done things for quite a while because it's quite a good progressive warm up towards those movements. And we also find that members are never faced with, you can't do that, so do this instead, which is necessarily the most positive way to pitch something to someone who's a bit newer.
Very true. And it's
The other
very
thing I
easy
wrote,
to. Sorry, go on,
go on,
Gareth.
sir. The other thing I wrote down for improve is we utilize our in-body machine. Like, are they dropping body fat? Are they improving skeletal muscle mass? It's a really easy data point. I was chatting to some of the guys at the
Mm-hmm.
weekend. We bang a lot of people through on a bring a friend day. So a lot of our members and a lot of their friends, and it's used as a sort of a monthly check-in for them, but also an opportunity to tweak that prescription and upsell them products.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's a very useful, a really important point when it comes to improve, is that, you know, we only know if we're improving if we've measured something as such. I mean, we might have the feeling that things are easier, but that's just a feeling. And that we need to also encourage our members when it comes to improve, not just encourage our members to write things down, remember numbers, but also give them the opportunity to test things out sometimes. and say, yeah, do you know what? Today you are going to do Annie, and you're just going to, let's see how far you get with all your double unders, even if it's like one double under and four single unders. We're just going to test it because I think we often look, I look at it differently. We encourage members to write down their one rep max when it comes to deadlifts and stuff like that, and maybe to Murph and a couple of other workouts. But we have to give more opportunities for them to truly test where they stand now and to look back on where they were 3 months ago, 6 months ago. And also to help them reflect on, oh, look, you haven't made any progress in your pull ups. Why is that? Oh, you've decided to cherry pick all the workouts and only do the ones with the barbell, for example. Yeah. And I think that's also part of Improve, getting them into the whole methodology of observable, measurable, and repeatable, and how important it is to really understand what their next steps are as such. And I
So,
think something else. Sorry, go on, Andy.
Karen is added in the repeating of the workouts, and then just the sort of come in there. You've with the opportunity to improve, you've got to give time, right? And there you can program that time in within a class. So taking out what we did at the gym yesterday, a very simple workout, right? It's just 10-minute AMRAP of 10 push-ups. And then an ascending ladder of double unders. The number of people that got like their first double under or their first set of 10 double unders because we created an environment which would allow them to do that, rather than, let's say, Annie would be like a little bit further down the line because it's for time and there's a different element of stress. So maybe just having the consideration in regards to, well, let's give them some opportunity where it's a little bit less stress to practice that skill set. And then, you can work it towards them having a particular kind of time then in there. So again, the time to improve, or consideration of the time to improve, which could become down, as Karen said, to repeat workouts. Hey gang, we're going to do the Fran on in 8 weeks time. Make sure you've got your scores ready from when you did it last time and what you did and so on and so forth.
And I think you bring up a really important point when it comes to improve, and that's the practice part. And we have to give our members opportunities to practice the skills or the heavy weight or things like that. And this is where I think, this is my own belief, is that we have to balance off the stimulus for the workout with the opportunity to practice movements, especially under fatigue, high skill movements, or the first time, using a heavier weight during a workout and things like that. And that's where we have to balance off. Is somebody here today to practice, to train, or to compete as such? And that's where we also have to let our members understand that part of improving is that they actually have to practice. If you go full send for every single workout, you're going to miss the opportunities to develop the skills and the techniques. So you can go heavier, you can go faster, you do more reps unbroken. And I know it's a hard one because often they want the fastest time on the board or the RX or whatever it might be that they want to achieve. But I think our jobs as coaches is to help them reach that sweet spot of the threshold where they can really improve and make the bigger physiological adaptations that we know that can happen under CrossFit. But that's going back again to being seen. Because if you don't understand their why, you're never going to be able to explain why they might have to take weight off the barbell or why they have to put weight on the barbell. Yeah? Or why, in this workout, we're not going to do, the 3 chicken arm bar muscle ups, but you're going to do 1 beautiful bar muscle up, for example. Yeah. It keeps going back to being seen, which brings us then to satisfied. How can we help our members be satisfied as coaches? Does anyone have any ideas? It's a tough one because for some members it is they want to be lying on a heap on the ground, leaving a sweat angel behind them. And others are just satisfied because they've turned up and they've done some moving. So then saying that, sorry, James, go on.
I was going to say, in terms of satisfaction, I think they just need to get what they expected, get what they were sold, that sort of thing, get what they came for. Whereas we find that, like, we obviously run High Rocks and CrossFit, And I think the people that come to High Rocks just want to get smashed. And the people that come to CrossFit want to see improvement and be coached. And we sort of we do sort of program it a bit that way as well, because that's what they want.
That's an interesting thing because we actually have to give them what they want so that they keep coming back, so that in the end they are open for what they need. Nobody
Yeah.
joins a CrossFit gym or a High Rocks gym to talk about, sleep and recovery. But we know as coaches that that is an important part of it. But until they get to the point where they've gotten what they needed or what they wanted from whatever it is, whether it's to be smashed during High Rocks training or whatever, they won't be open for the rest of the stuff. And I think that's where, as coaches, we have to be adaptable, that even though we might know what they really need, we first have to give them what they want, if it's within our realms of influence as such, to make sure they keep coming back and they stand open for the other things. James, I'm just intrigued. How do you balance then, from your coach's point of view, balance having to coach a High Rocks group who just want to get smashed and a group who want to improve?
Well, I mean, we put back squats into High Rocks programming this week just to, teach them that obviously they need to work on their strength, because it will obviously help them with their High Rocks. And it's just about getting the coaches to explain the stimulus and how it will help with obviously wall balls and lunges. And it's just about trying to get the message over to the members as to why they're doing it. And as long as they get that once or twice a week smashing as well on the program, I think they're quite happy. Just like you say, drip feeding a little bit of what they need.
Yeah, it's that constant thing. And I don't know how many of you on this call do anything to do with nutrition as such. But at the end of the day, if we look at our pyramid, nutrition's at the very bottom. And I did a survey of affiliates in the Benelux region, and less than half of them offer any form of nutrition coaching, not even like personal one-on. I don't mean formal coaching. They don't even discuss nutrition as such. And I think that's also where we have low-hanging fruit when it comes to our own coaching, is to be aware that we can have those conversations with people. We can see, they're feeling tired. Oh, how come you're tired? How is the sleep? How is your nutrition? Things like that. We can open up those doors more, even if we don't offer it formally as such. Lastly, does anybody want to add anything to Satisfied? Going to quickly do atmosphere before we go back to the big one, safety and time. Does anyone have any tips about atmosphere? How they can make sure the atmosphere is what they want it to be? What is atmosphere? Andy?
The trainer who is leading has to have somewhat of ultimate control. And in regards to that, it's understanding that people are there, or some people are there, for all of the above things: safety, time, be seen, improved, and satisfied, and how the coach can create those opportunities for the members, but also what the coach needs to do in order to create those opportunities as well. So that it's from our perspective, as I said, it's very open. That trainer has the ultimate control. Be friendly, as Karen's got, put it on hit the nail on the head. Be friendly, energetic, manage the music, ensure everyone feels included.
Yeah. Then any tips to be friendly, to be energetic, to manage the music? Does anybody have any tips or coaching practices that people can use? I'll give you a tip about the music. It's a very simple one. Have a playlist for your 20-minute AMRAP. Have a playlist for, your 7-minute sprint or whatever. Yeah, there's somebody in your box or some teenager somewhere who will happily do something that builds up in time, so that not everybody goes full send in those first 2 rounds of an AMRAP as such. But any other ideas when it comes to atmosphere? I think something that's often forgotten about in atmosphere is one of the six aspects of coaching, and that's demonstration. And the coach has to demonstrate what they expect in the atmosphere as well. Yeah. So if you want a warm, friendly atmosphere, the coach has to be warm and friendly. I know it sounds obvious, but I've done enough observations to see somebody with, it looks like a resting judge face, for want of a better description, as opposed to warm, open, smiling, and things like that. And we have to make it really explicit of what we mean by friendly. How can we see this from the outside? What does it look like? Because also often we have no idea what our body language looks like or what our faces are doing while we're coaching. And somebody might think that they're smiling all the way through and they haven't smiled once. And that's why something as basic as videoing during your whiteboard brief can already give you a lot of insights into what's going on. If that makes sense. Going to quickly circle back to safety and time, because this is a big one. Now, when it comes to safety, we have two aspects: physical and mental, psychological safety. Does anybody have any tips they have for these things or practices they use? Nobody wants their members to be safe. Go on, James. You took the bait.
I think the layout of the class, so obviously having your area prepped appropriately and sort of managing the numbers. So if you have 16 people on, and there's only an X amount of rowers or X amount of racks, it's about the coach sort of maybe changing the plan a little bit to make it safer to, people can share and stuff like that. I think it's the program management and the member movement flow, I think, and just obviously prepping your area beforehand. Depending on what you've got going on in your gyms, like some people might have open gym going on or PT sessions at the same time, and it's just about all those coaches involved are just communicating with each other. Like, for example, we have our gyms, we have two classes. We want a small group PT down one end and a big group down the other end. And if we're doing a run, obviously our members have got we ask them to walk
through each other.
Yeah, they got to avoid anyone getting ran into each other. Stuff like that.
Yeah, nice. Anybody like anything else to add? I think something as simple as a floor plan and understanding what the floor plan should be. One thing I've come across is I know a couple of affiliates who run, I'm going to call them bigger number classes, like 20 plus. They often have restrictions on how much material they have on the floor. They limit it to 3 different pieces of material simply because not only the logistics of getting everything out, but just keeping everything under control and in the right place as such. From a safety point of view, so that's all like the physical safety point of view. Does anyone have any ideas about the psychological safety?
I talk to the guys a lot about making deposits in the athletes' minds. So if I turn around to someone I've coached for 10 years and go, hey, if you do this next time you do thrusters, it's going to take 2 minutes off your Fran time. Versus James turning around, who's never met him before, and goes, hey, if you do this, it'll take 2 minutes off your Fran time. They're probably going to be like, yeah, I don't know about that, James. So I think small deposits, small success deposits. Someone in the chat said something, Karen, I think, said, give them a progression that they're succeeding and don't set them up for failure. I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more Karen's hit the nail on the head, the more successes you have, the safer that person's going to feel around you.
And the more trust they will have. Yeah.
The other one that buys us a lot of trust is we'll change the programming. We're in central Birmingham, we're on an industrial estate. We'll change the programming if it gets dark and it's running and it's wet. Like, guys, if you can run if you want, but if you don't want to, staying in is perfectly fine as well. Like the physical safety of them in that environment.
Yeah.
That buys quite a lot actually from them.
Mhm. No, I can imagine it does because they feel like, well, back to being seen, that they're a human being as such. And I think another thing from the physical, the psychological safety point of view is obviously we need to have empathy and things like that, but we also need to be able to have the hard discussions with our members if need be, if somebody is out of line. Because if we allow behavior to start that we do not want in our boxes, and everybody's line is different, yeah, you need to put a stop to it as soon as possible. And as I say to a lot of coaches I work with, you have to demonstrate the behavior you want from your members. So if you want your members to be quiet during the whiteboard briefing, if you're a coach and you're attending the class, then yeah, you should also be quiet during the whiteboard briefing. Even if there might be a member asking you something, we need to demonstrate everything, and we need to demonstrate, helping each other, getting material and stuff like that, and just generally empathy for each other. Because coaches are leaders in the box as such, and they have to be role models. And if they are not demonstrating every aspect that you expect from your members, then they are not being the role models you need them to be. But that in turn means you need to be very explicit in what you expect from your coaches and making sure it is observable and measurable and repeatable, and not just say something like, oh yeah, make sure you prepare the lesson. What does that mean? Yeah. Make sure you think about the scaling options. How are you going to measure that? What they thought about it? I can say I thought about it, but what does it really mean? And so that's what I'm going to ask you moving forward, is that do this exercise with your coaches and come up with lists of practices that as a team you can do to make sure your members get an exceptional lesson as often as possible as such. Does anyone have anything they want to add about the coaching practices? No. Moving away along. Then why this is so important is that if we understand the member experience we want to give, whatever it is, and we understand the coaching practices that give that member experience, then it is very easy to be able to develop the coaches to deliver those coaching practices that give an exceptional member experience. It's this one lens. It's not random. It means everything you're doing to make sure your members are satisfied. They become your biggest ambassadors, and that you're filling the holes in your bucket. If you just do random coach development, oh, we need to do something on teaching, seeing, correcting, but it's not linked back to how the members are going to experience and what it means to them, then it's just like throwing spaghetti at a wall as such. Yeah. So if you can, try and figure out what's the member experience, what are the coaching practices to deliver that member experience, and then you know what you have to help your coaches develop over time. And always put your member central. So even when you're coaching the coaches, you need to figure out, okay, but what does that member need in this moment in time? And how can I help my coach deliver that thing to that member? If we lose sight of our member, especially when it comes to coach development, then we're losing the most important person in the equation, because that's what this is about. You are delivering valuable hours in the affiliate, meaning they're obviously of value to you. They're improving your bottom line, hopefully, but they're only valuable if they add value to your member as well. If they're getting something out of it, if they're getting what they want and what they need out of it. Then finally, don't forget, what gets measured gets done. What gets measured and fed back gets done well. And what gets rewarded gets repeated. Just like your members, yeah? You need to say to them, oh, good work in keeping your knees out. You need to tell your coaches what they're doing well as well. We have a habit of human beings of focusing on the things that are not going well. But we need to celebrate the things that are going well to make sure they keep getting done. And that's also another part of coach development. Celebrate the things that are going well and keep rewarding them for doing those things so that they're not forgotten about. Last but not least, next steps. Redo this with the team. Yeah, you can, I believe, Gareth, you're making a recording of this. You can even just use this recording with the team as a basis. Happy to send you the slides as well if you want. You can also do this with your members, the first part. So I've done this in a couple of boxes where they call them like the seed clients, the members who are really, really wanting the box to succeed. They came along for some coffee and we went through, okay, what makes an exceptional lesson for you? So that we had a better idea of what was going on. And remember to reach out for help. And I don't just mean to me, I mean, obviously to Andy and Gareth, but also to other box owners, other coaches as such, because we have so much to learn from each other in this ecosystem. And the box down the road might do something in a way that would really add value to your own members as such. And we can't keep going about reinventing the wheel again and again and again because we're just wasting our time and energy on it. I was talking to someone last night and we talked about the fact that we need to stand on each other's shoulders. If somebody has figured out a good way of doing it, there is nothing wrong with using that and building on it further and sharing that with people. So that's what I'm asking you to do. Go out, talk to other affiliate owners, talk to other coaches, compare notes when it comes to coaching and an exceptional member experience. Then, I won't bore you with my work with me, but what I have for you is an ebook, and it's just onboarding coaches. And it's about onboarding coaches to not only the CrossFit methodology, just some tips and tricks, but also to your affiliate and to your members. Because when you have coaches coming into your affiliate, there are 3 aspects that you need for their onboarding. And that's to, obviously, the methodology, but your affiliate. How does your affiliate run? What do you expect from them? What's the expected coaching practice from them? How do they even ask for vacation days? Anything, whatever it might be. But most importantly and forgotten about is how do you onboard them to your members? How do you make sure that they build learning relationships with your members as quickly as possible? So just like Gareth was saying, making those deposits. How do you make sure that they make those deposits with your members as quickly as possible so your members trust them? If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to have a chat at any time about anything to do with coach development or the health of your affiliate or anything like that. So thank you, guys. Any questions?
Thank you, Farran. Now's a good opportunity if you've got something that you want to either put to the group or leverage Farran's vast experience in regards to coach development, etc. That would be a great opportunity for that.
And I don't bite, so it's okay. And if you see my background moving, it's because my dog is extremely happy. Thanks, Karen.
What with the gyms that you do work with, what do you feel is one thing that stands out? I know every gym is individual, but one thing that stands out is like a low-hanging fruit that people aren't taking care of.
I think it's the basic necessity to support your coaches in planning their classes properly. Yeah. And not just accepting that somebody walks in and reads the whiteboard. Yeah. But that also in turn means you need to reward them for this extra work that they're putting in. If you expect them to be a professional in front of the class, you need to reward them being a professional in front of the class. And I know it's tough. I know it's not an easy equation to balance out. That's the first one. And the second one is, please stop reinventing the wheel. Yeah. You don't have to do everything yourself. There are so many people and resources and things like that out there to help you figure out how to do something effectively and efficiently. And yes, as Andy says, not all affiliates are the same. Not all gyms are the same. but all humans are essentially have the same core needs. And there's somebody out there who's faced the same challenges you have, and they've gotten through it and they've learned it, and you should be able to take their learnings and move forward. They'd be the two things.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Cool. Well, if there's nothing further, gang, I just want to say thank you very much, Farran. This time, what such a better version this time, right? You know, in regards to having the full time to maximize and not going on to the different even different provider as well, actually. So
yeah. So maybe for those who didn't realize, myself and Andy sat the last time, I think, for about 20 minutes on a completely different call from everybody else. So it was great that we were all on the same call together today.
yeah, so it's brilliant. So yeah, just in regards to sort of next bits and pieces, this recording will be submitted to CrossFit. From CrossFit, it will then be, I believe, put out on a YouTube channel. I'm not 100% sure what that looks like just yet, but obviously we'll be able to provide the links from this within our newsletter as well. So again, Farran's helped by sending over the PDF documents. Is that right? Yeah. And have you sent them?
Yeah, I'll send, yeah, I can send a PDF of the slides to Gareth. I'll send them to you so you can send them out to people as well.
Yeah, and so what we'll do, we'll just send them to the people that are in on this call, and then we can attach that underneath basically to the video description as well. So then they'll have all your contact details if you for that one, right? So yeah, hopefully we can work together. And as we said, what we're all trying to do here is just raise the standard of the delivery of our class. So it's great to have input from as many sources as possible.
Exactly. Thanks, guys, for your attention today and taking part in this. Much appreciated.
No problem. Take care, Farran. Take all the best, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. That was great. Cheers.
Cool.
Good
Thank you
stuff,
very much,
Andy.
Fran. Brilliant, right?
Have a great day.
And you too.
You look nice and warm in your jacket.
Trying to be, yeah. So we'll see as the day progresses. Yeah, if I don't speak to you before the new year, have a great Christmas and New Year, and we'll pick up with another one of these in 2026.
I do have a question for you, Andy. Do you already have an idea of what you're going to do for your affiliate gathering next year?
So we know the date is, I think it's the last weekend in June.
Okay.
As to what and no.
How and all the details. Okay.
Yeah. So
I will annoy you about that at another time.
That's fine. No problem at all. Yeah. So it's late because Gareth is expecting. Plus, the first half of the year is just loaded with the Open. We've got the
Crazy.
French Throwdown.
Yeah.
And
French Throwdown. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So again, we'll just try and get in there just before the summer holidays.
Sounds good. I hope you have a wonderful day, Andy.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Okay.
All right, cheers, Fran. Bye-bye.